happened?
It was my second year at BYU. I was 18. I found out I was pregnant. And so he and I went to his parents' house and told them.
I literally can't imagine.
It wasn't a pleasant conversation with them.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode 5. And before we get into it, first things first, Salt Lake City is top 2 and she's not 2. The girls have been 5 for 5. Every episode so far has been flawless, no notes. I said come through. Bronwyn Newport, I want to give you the Best New Housewife Award. The fact that I was speechless for the first 7 or 8 minutes, I said come through. We're officially 5 episodes in. I have made my decision that Bronwyn is here to stay. She came to play. And I cannot wait to see more. Bronwyn, I like you. The first scene with you and Lisa, and then the scene with you and your daughter, Gwen, I said, oh, Miss Mamas. Bronwyn is it. And Heather, I hope that you're comfortable because the way I'm about to drag you, you need to cut it out. You're a grown woman up here trying to meddle and ruin somebody's friendship all because you want to get close to Lisa Barlow. And the fact that you are happy to be Lisa's yes man is really pathetic. Is everything okay, sis? But without further ado, let's just jump right on into it because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. Oh, one more thing. A quick disclaimer. If you're waiting on New York, keep waiting because this last episode was so bad, I zoned out. I had to watch the episode twice and I still zoned out the second time. I don't have anything for New York right now. And it's really glaring because we have 3 strong cities on right now. SLC, OC, and Potomac are killing it. So the fact that New York is flopping the way it is, I don't have time. I hope you aren't upset with me. If you are, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry, y'all. New York is a letdown. Now we open up this episode with a few short scenes. We started off with Lisa at home. She's getting Henry's lunch together and he's in his gaming room playing a video game. Now I thought it was funny that production started the episode off with this scene because we know that later on Heather relays some information to Lisa saying that Angie K was talking about Henry always gaming and Lisa not being a present mother. So I caught that, I guess you could say, shade that production started off this episode with this scene. Now we jump over to Meredith. She's at home with her rabbi and she's going over the Torah to get ready for her bat mitzvah. Did anybody notice that Meredith really didn't get any screen time except for this scene? And I'm not going to hold you. I love Meredith down, but I forgot all about her in this episode. There was so much going on. So I said, Miss Meredith, girl, I'm gonna need you to step it up. So now we get to Lisa and Bronwyn meeting up for reflexology massages. So as they're getting their massages done, Lisa starts off the conversation and she says, Bronwyn, I've been thinking about you all week. So we cut to Bronwyn's confessional and we learned that when her and Lisa were in the airport, they both had a connecting flight. And as they were just killing time, Lisa made a joke about something and then Bronwyn made a face. So we find out that Lisa told Bronwyn that when she made that face, she looked just like her daughter Gwen. So Bronwyn said, really? I don't think so. And everybody's always said that Gwen looks just like her dad and not me. So as she's saying that, she showed Lisa a picture of her ex-baby daddy and Lisa was like, oh my gosh, I know him. So I'm like, wait, are we gonna find out that Lisa and Bronwyn's baby daddy dated back in the day? Like, is that what's about to happen? Y'all, when I tell you I was glued to my seat. So we find out that not only does Lisa know Bronwyn's baby daddy, but she's close with his entire family. So at this point, I'm like, wait, how does that work? Now remember, Bronwyn already gave us a little bit of backstory in the first episode when she was introduced to us, that she had gotten pregnant while she was at BYU. We know that BYU is a Mormon school, so you can't curse, can't drink, you can't do anything. You can't have premarital sex, none of that. So when she got pregnant, that was a big deal and she dropped out. So Bronwyn lets us know that she was 19, about to turn 20 when she got pregnant. So not only was her baby daddy not involved, he ended up passing away by the time Gwen turned 2. I was like, oh my gosh, this story just keeps getting worse. Lisa was everybody at this moment because she wanted to know more. She's like, okay, so what happened? So Bronwyn shares more of the story that when she got pregnant, she was in her second year at BYU, and when she found out, her and her ex went to his parents' house, broke the news to them, and as you can imagine, things went left. They were not receptive, they were not supportive, they were pissed. And unfortunately, she had to bear all the blame. The parents called her disgraceful and an embarrassment. I was just like, wait, what? I'm so sorry, but you can't speak to me like that. I don't care who you are. I can't imagine being in Bronwyn's shoes and I'm having my boyfriend or whoever's parents talk to me crazy and call me a disgrace. Oh no, that would not be happening. Absolutely not. And I think it's so awful that 9 times out of 10, the woman always gets blamed. That's crazy to me. You do know that it takes 2. I always hate how in cheating scandals, the other woman always gets blamed, not the man. The man always gets off scot-free. When it's like, he was the one who knew that he was in a relationship or a marriage. He was out here probably lying, saying that he was single, but y'all always want to blame the woman. It seems like in every situation throughout history, the woman always gets blamed and it's irritating. How his parents blamed her is just beyond me. She didn't have that baby by herself. She wasn't the only one in that bed, but we do find out that her ex's family was Mormon. Everybody in their community was Mormon. So for their son to come back with a pregnant girlfriend, that was unacceptable. So now Bronwyn continues on and says that her ex's parents really wanted her to do a study abroad program in Europe, quietly have the baby, and then give it up for adoption, but she wasn't doing that. And one more thing, for Bronwyn's ex's parents, it's okay for y'all to shame her, but you guys didn't shame your son for being a deadbeat father and not taking care of his child. So that's okay? I don't get that. The logic is always twisted. It always seems that it's always in favor of the man. He can be a deadbeat, he can do whatever, break the rules, but the woman gets dragged. And then I also felt bad hearing that Bronwyn's parents were also upset and that her and her mom's relationship was strained for quite some time. So as Bronwyn is sharing her story, Lisa starts crying and she says that her heart goes out to everybody in this situation. Now, Lisa, I understand that you're close to Bronwyn's ex's family and you had no idea that they had any relation to Bronwyn, but at the end of the day, I don't know why you have all this grace and you feel so badly for his family. They're in the wrong. I don't care how long you've known them. For them to abandon Bronwyn and their grandchild like that is pathetic. Gwen is about to be 18 in a few months. They've had ample time to reach out to her to get to know their grandchild. So, miss me with all that stuff about, my heart breaks for everybody in this situation. No, your heart needs to break for Bronwyn and Gwen only. And the fact that Bronwyn said that her father called them both up and said, hey, do you guys want to get to know your grandchild from your deceased son? And they never called him back. And I loved how Bronwyn kept it real. She said, I'm having a hard time reconciling the fact that you're super close to my ex's family when they have not been in my child's life for the last 17 years. So now Lisa shares that she actually went out with Gwen's grandmother the other day and she told her everything about what happened at the airport, and Gwen's grandmother said, it's time. Now, I call BS. In my opinion, the only reason why their grandparents are now reaching out and they want to make amends is because they don't want to be blasted on national TV for being the deadbeats that they are. Because they knew that this storyline would get out, and they know that with Lisa being friends with them and Bronwyn being on the show now, the news would seep out that they have not been there. So now they want to mask it like, oh no, well, we've always wanted to have a relationship with Gwen. We've been too afraid. We're also hurt and sad too. We're not going to play this game. You guys were willing deadbeats, did not care about Bronwyn or your grandchild, and you guys have felt self-righteous and on your high horse for all these years. But now, since the cameras are here, now y'all want to make amends? And the only thing that should be said right now, we're sorry for not being there. we're sorry for calling your mom everything but a child of God when she told us that she was pregnant 18 years ago. Because I can assure you that if Bronwyn wasn't on this show, y'all would still be paying them dust. But now, since you guys don't want to look bad, now you guys want to act like you want to make up and be a big happy family. So now we jump to a short scene with Heather, Britney, and Whitney going skiing. So now they get done skiing, they take a selfie, and now Heather brings up the video that Britney sent her the other day. So we see the video, and when Britney got home from Milwaukee, she got all these gifts sent to her door. She got a stuffed unicorn, 4 dozen roses, a card, all from Jared. So Britney informs them that Jared wants to meet up with her, and Heather's like, girl, no. Let that ship sail. It's done. It's a wrap. Just leave that alone. So now you have Britney saying that she feels like she owes him closure. And I'm so sick and tired of people saying that. There is no such thing as closure. And also, you guys were never in a relationship. You were never his girlfriend. He was never your man. So stop talking about closure and breaking up. That's not what this was. You have let this man willingly play in your face on national TV at that, and you're still holding on to this relationship that never was. Let it go. Never let a man tell you more than once that he doesn't want you. And you've allowed him to do that several times. So now Whitney calls out Britney and she says, it's so complicated between you guys because one minute we're all pro Jared, and now Britney interrupts and she's like, well, not everybody is, because Lisa is very against Jared. And honestly, I don't understand why Lisa is so invested in our relationship. I said, wait, hold on. The audacity and the gall. How is Lisa pressed and invested when you have come to Lisa and everybody else in this group about what you should do when it comes to Jared? I cannot stand women like Britney, women who are so desperate for men and male validation. They want to talk about men and these stupid situationships all day long. When you give them advice or tell them stuff that they don't want to hear, like, girl, he don't want you, then they want to say, oh, girl, you're hating, or you're too wrapped up in my business, you're too invested, you're too pressed. It's like, wait, what? You've been on my line day in and day out talking about the same old man who doesn't want you, by the way, but now I'm too invested. Don't talk to me about your man issues and then have the nerve to say that I'm too invested in your business. You involved everybody in this group. So you don't have the right to say, oh, Lisa's too invested. Girl, shut up. Britney, you really sound like a fool and you just look desperate and pathetic, and at your big age at that. So now Whitney brings up that she's still pissed off at Lisa because when they got back home, the manager from the hotel called Whitney up and told her that they found one of her necklaces in the trash. So she asked, well, whose room was it in? And I think they said it was room 406, which was Lisa's room. Side note, that was a bit petty of the hotel manager, in my opinion, to call Lisa up about how somebody threw her necklaces in the trash. So now Whitney says that Lisa is very vindictive because what other reason would there be for her to throw her necklace in the trash? Well, according to the streets and Meredith, they're saying that your jewelry is from Alibaba anyway, sis, so I don't know why you're so upset. So here's where things get messy, because Whitney brings up her argument with Meredith when they were at the Harley-Davidson Museum in Milwaukee, and how she was going super hard at her and not Lisa. So now Heather jumps in, and one thing about Heather is going to always stir the pot and make things worse. So Heather jumps in and says that Lisa was the one who told Meredith about the rumors about Prism being from Alibaba anyway. So Whitney's like, wait, what? So Heather says, yeah, Lisa told Meredith, Meredith told me, and then I told you. But Heather goes on to say that Whitney is taking this too personally. And I said, well, how else would she take it? You'd be pissed off if somebody spoke badly about Beauty Lab. I don't like how Heather does that. She'll tell you the worst news and then she's shocked and appalled when you're pissed off about it. But Whitney says that Lisa's probably still mad at her about the whole podcast. And then we have Heather saying that Whitney needs to get to the bottom of all this. And I said, okay, Heather, you're always advising somebody to confront this person or that person. Then when they do, you sit back and act like you didn't say anything to make things worse. She does it every single time. And Miss Heather, I'm noticing that you're being extra messy this season because you don't have a storyline. I've been looking for it and I can't find her. Where is she? In my opinion, Heather has let being the anchor and the OG of this show go to her head. so she thinks that she can coast. So now we jump on over to Mary, and she's at home. She's getting ready to go to a dance class with Angie K, but before she heads out, she's calling for her son, Robert Jr., and she's asking him if he's eaten. And I want to be as respectful and as sensitive and as delicate with this situation because it's very sad. But Robert Jr. comes out. She lets him know that she's about to go. And it seems like he didn't even register what she was saying. He's like, can I have some money? So Mary questions him. She's like, for what? And he says, for food. And it's clear that Mary doesn't believe him because she says, we're going to use this money for good purposes, right? Because our body is like a plant. If you don't water it, what happens? You die. So now we cut to Mary's confessional, and she says that she wants Robert to get a job and be disciplined, but right now he's not in the headspace to work, and it's due to his lifestyle choices. Now we all know, we've seen the blogs, we've seen the articles come out about Robert Jr.'s substance issue. A few weeks ago, he checked into a rehab in California. Mary did an interview with Entertainment Tonight stating that he's doing better and how there were times before where he didn't want to live anymore and it was due to the substances. And I am happy that Mary is being vulnerable and she is being honest and sharing about what's going on. She's not hiding it or sweeping it under the rug. But I really do hope that after he gets out of rehab, I hope and pray that he gets a job. And I'm not saying that he needs to have this big glamorous job, but just something where he's out the house every day, he's around other people, developing his social skills, he has some money in his pocket, he feels productive, but a very sad situation. So now we see Angie K at Mary's house, and she's picking her up so that they can go to dance class. Now, it was so funny because when Mary got into her car, she was like, why does your car smell like onions? I said, gee, Mary, can we get a hello? How are you? So Angie K and Mary get to the dance class, and we see Heather's daughter, Georgia, is also in the class too. And Mary proved me wrong because she was in that dance class getting it. I said, okay, Mary, come through. I know I've said this in every other recap, but Mary has truly been an absolute delight. And shout out to one of my Twitter mutuals who said that Mary is definitely gunning for the MVP spot, and I agree. I think that it's going to be her and Bronwyn as the two MVPs this season because they have been fully clocked in. So now the dance class is over, and now Angie K and Mary go off to the side to talk about what's going on in the group. So Angie K is asking Mary if she had a good time on the trip. And Mary says, oh yeah, I had a great time. It was so much fun. And Angie K says that she also had a good time, but she did leave that trip emotional because she was still upset by what Lisa said to her when they were at the Harley-Davidson Museum. So Angie K is still pissed that Lisa made that dig, saying that Angie K uses her daughter as an excuse to get off the phone with her. And she says, I'm a devoted mother because I didn't have one. Remember last season, Angie shared with us that her mother passed away when she was like 6 or 7. So now we cut to Angie K's confessional, and she points out how Lisa has fallen out with all of her friends. She says first it was Jen Shah, then it was Meredith, then it was Mary. There's a reason why she can't keep friends. So now Angie K says that her and Lisa used to be sisters. They would be on that phone morning, noon, and night. And now Lisa does not call her at all. Now Angie K, I don't know why you're so surprised. We know that Lisa is somebody who hates being called out, hates being held accountable for her actions. She wants yes men. That's why Heather is now her newest mouthpiece and her new best friend for the moment, because Heather is willing to be so far up her ass and blindly defend her. That's what she wants. She wants a soldier. Because you called her out in the first episode, Lisa did not take that well. So now Angie K reveals that Heather has also blamed her for why things aren't right between her and Lisa. And Mary's shocked to hear it. She's like, wait, what? And Angie K says, yeah, Heather's blaming me, saying that I'm the reason why Lisa is not speaking to me. She's totally siding with Lisa. So now we flip to a parallel scene with Lisa and Heather hanging out, and they're at a salt cave. Now, one quick side note, salt caves are amazing for your sinuses. I've been to quite a few of them. They're fun, they're relaxing. I recommend them. So as they're in the salt cave, Lisa's asking Heather how did she like the trip? So Heather says that she still has not recovered. And I said, girl, recovered from what? You need to recover quickly and find yourself a storyline. So Lisa says, the dinner at the Harley-Davidson Museum was so weird. So here goes Heather talking about, yeah, I know. I feel like Angie K is trying to change the terms and agreements of your friendship. I said, Heather, what are you talking about? And did anybody else find it weird when Heather said that Angie K is challenging Lisa for no reason? And I said, Heather, just because everybody's not a kiss ass like you are, doesn't mean that they're challenging people for no reason. Angie K has the right to defend herself and speak her mind the same way that Lisa does. For you to say that Angie K is challenging Lisa, that phrasing makes it sound like Angie K is in some subordinate position to Lisa when they're both friends, they're both on equal footing. It sounds like you're upset that Angie K has the balls to confront Lisa and you don't. And Heather, are you not embarrassed? Are you not ashamed? Where's your pride? Because for you to say, I don't like the way she's treating you, are you her bodyguard? So of course Lisa's eating it up because anytime you blow smoke up her ass and tell her what she wants to hear, she loves you. So she's like, oh my gosh, Heather, thank you. Thank you. I know, right? So Heather, here's why I have to read you down because you tried it and you lied. Because Heather shares that the next morning, when it was their last day of the trip, her and Angie K were talking and Angie K threw out some jabs about Lisa. She was making jabs about Lisa's parenting skills, how she doesn't let her daughter play video games all day the way Lisa does with her son, Henry. So Lisa's irate hearing that and she's like, wait, what? She said that? She was talking about my parenting? Are you serious right now? Really? I can't believe this. So Heather's like, well, wait, there's more. She also went on to say that her daughter Electra requires more than your son Henry does and how she's a present parent and you're not. So production played the tapes back and that's not what Angie K said. So I said, Heather, you're gonna sit up here and lie like this? For you to twist Angie K's words like that, and it's no shade, but I wouldn't trust anything out of your mouth anyway when you sat up there and lied for a whole year and a half about who gave you that black eye. So yeah, I wouldn't really believe anything out of your mouth when it comes to relaying messages. I really want to know, are you ever going to get some therapy? Because your need to be liked and validated by Lisa Barlow is alarming. You still act like you're in middle school trying to kiss up to the popular girls in school. It's sad. You're a grown-ass woman doing all this for what? So of course Lisa's freaking out. She's going on a rant. She's crying. And she's like, oh my gosh, really? She wants to say that I'm a shitty mom? Really? Well, for me to be such a shitty mom, I've obviously done pretty well. That's a real low blow to go after somebody's parenting. I'm constantly criticized from the public about my parenting because I'm a public figure, but to have that sort of critique come from somebody who was a friend, it really hurts. Now, Lisa, where was all this when you were talking about your friend Meredith like a dog during that hot mic moment in season 2? I noticed that anytime somebody says anything about Lisa, it's the end of the world. But when she's mad and she goes off on people, it's all right. There's always an excuse. There's always a justification for why she lashed out, but she doesn't give anybody else that same grace. And in this case, I don't want to hear it because that's not what Angie K said. And Heather, I lost so much respect for you when you said, I didn't want to tell Lisa, but I thought that she should know. I said, I'm sure you did. So now we jump on over to Whitney and she's in the car with her daughter Bobby and her husband Justin. Whitney gets a call from one of her podcaster friends and we all know that it's Up and Adam on the phone. Shout out to him. So we find out that Whitney and Adam are casual friends and it just so happens that Adam is friends with the person who runs the account accusing Whitney of sourcing her jewelry from Alibaba. So Whitney reveals that she asked Adam if he could find out who is the person who sent the story to this account in the first place, feeding them information about she gets her stuff from Alibaba because that's not the case. And then she adds that she has her suspicions, but she just needs the receipts. So Whitney's on the phone with Adam and Adam says, look, I tried to find out who it was and I was told that it's somebody in your group. Then I asked, does this person own a jewelry brand? They said no. Then I asked, does this person own a liquor brand? And they said yes. Now we know that the only person on this cast who has a liquor line is Lisa Barlow with Vita Tequila. So Whitney says that she's surprised to hear this because Lisa was so distraught about the whole reality Von T situation with Monica. So why would she do this? And then she says that on one hand, it's validating to hear this news, but on the other hand, it's like there was never a friendship in the first place. And I said, now, Whitney, I want you to come close. You and Lisa never had a real friendship. In season 3, when you and Heather were beefing, you guys had an alliance, and that's that. I've been telling y'all since season 1 that Lisa has never seen it for you or your cousin Heather. So for you to say, oh, we never had a real friendship, no, you didn't. Now this scene with Britney and Jared Osmond, we're not even doing this, y'all. Just so much stupidity because Britney, this man has told you several times that he does not want you. He has rejected you each and every time, and you have refused to get that through your head. This whole conversation, in my opinion, was a waste of everybody's time. He doesn't want you, but he doesn't want you to move on and find somebody else. He wants you still stuck on him. And is it just me, or did Jared Osmond look like he was eager for this camera time? When he sat up there and told Britney that he was so upset because she ghosted him, I said, how did she ghost you? You guys were not together. You friend zoned her. So Jared goes on to say that some things need to be private, and then he goes on to add how when they're in public, he always holds her hand and he kisses her in public. And she's like, really? Do you do that? I don't feel safe when I'm with you. So he's like, what do you mean by that? So now we cut to Britney's confessional and we find out that he won't post her on social media. He's still on dating apps. And when they're out in public, if he's holding her hand and he sees another pretty woman, he drops her hand. So I said, now Britney, you're telling me that you've still been clinging on to this man after all that? I hope and pray that you go and see the lady immediately because you need help. And I'm not saying that to be shady. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that because I care. Your self-esteem is in the gutter. It's non-existent because this man has rejected you multiple times and you have still been holding on. And Britney, you're going to keep getting more Jareds if you don't fix your self-esteem. Britney goes on to ask Jared if he can make her feel safe and give her what she wants. And he says, you know what, Britney, we're on 2 different pages, so let's put a pin on it. I said, girl, let this be it. So now we jump over to Bronwyn. She's at home with her daughter, and they're having some crumble cookies. Now, a quick side note, but I feel like I'm one of the few who enjoys crumble cookies. I know that on TikTok and on Twitter, people always complain about how they don't like crumble cookies. They're too this or they're too that. But for me, I like crumble cookies. They had this like vanilla cake flavor the other week. It was so good. It looked and tasted just like a cake, and like it was nice and soft and fluffy. Chef's kiss. But crumble cookies are a cute girl. I don't get why they get so much hate. I like them. But back to the topic at hand. Bronwyn says, I don't even know where to start because I was so shocked when I talked about it with Lisa at the airport and she told me that she knew your dad's family. And now Bronwyn shares that Lisa told her the other day that her dad's side of the family does want to meet her. So now we find out from Gwen that at first she was excited because she does want to learn more about her dad and her dad's side of the family. But now she feels a bit conflicted because at first their response seemed great, but now their new response feels a bit cold. So she says that it doesn't seem like they're excited to meet her, and it almost feels like an obligation. I don't believe that the grandparents' motives are sincere at all. I think that they're doing this now to save face and to get the public to not bash them for being the deadbeats that they are. So Bronwyn makes it clear that she's not trying to push her daughter into any direction, and she is a bit torn because she does want her daughter to know her dad's side of the family because he is half of her. Now, again, I don't have too much more to say about the situation. It's a very delicate situation. I love how Bronwyn and Gwen are giving us the rawness of a real situation. I like the maturity on both ends. And side note, her daughter is a beautiful girl. But Gwen, I will say that if you do meet your grandparents, they do need to apologize to you, because there is no excuse for them to not have reached out to you in your 18 years of living. That's ridiculous and it's pathetic. So now we get to the last scene of the episode and we see Heather, Mary Cosby, Britney and Lisa meeting up to go ziplining. Now, the way I was screaming, because when they got up there to go ziplining, Mary is a pro. And we find out that Mary loves ziplining. She says that she's ziplined in Jamaica, she's ziplined on a Disney cruise before, and anytime she can zipline, she'll do it because she feels liberated and free. Mary showing us the full scope of her personality. Chef's kiss. So they're done with ziplining and now they sit down to eat. Now, mind you, this is all outside. So when they pulled out the charcuterie tray out the trunk, Mary was like, oh, really? We're really roughing it today, huh? And then the producer asked Mary if she's ever tailgated before. And she said, what's that? Is that when you cook ribs and barbecue outside? So as they're enjoying the charcuterie and having some wine, Heather gives Britney a gift. And it's a really cute unicorn. And she says, I just want you to look at this unicorn and remember that you're a strong and powerful woman. So now Heather tells the ladies that the other day, Jared bought Britney all these gifts. He bought her 4 dozen roses and a stuffed unicorn and a card, trying to win her back. So now Lisa interjects and she's like, wait, did you meet up with him to get closure? So Britney's like, yeah, we are broken up, but honestly, I don't want to talk about it because I'm upset. So Lisa's like, what are you upset about? So now Britney says that she's upset with Lisa because pretty much Lisa has ruined any chance that she has of her and Jared ever getting back together. And she says, Lisa, just stay out of it. You're way too invested in my relationship. Now, I generally don't side with Lisa, but in this moment, Lisa has done nothing wrong, and I would have cursed you all the way out. Because how dare you? You have included everybody, especially Lisa, into your relationship mess since episode 1, and now you have the audacity and the gall to now say that she's too invested? If you don't want any opinions, then don't bring it up. I was so irritated. I said, are you serious right now? Don't get mad at Lisa that you're dumb and desperate. And I loved how Mary said, Britney, leave us all out of it. You're wasting our time, your time. Just leave us alone. And then you have Britney getting defensive, saying gladly. So now Heather and Lisa say, me too, me three, leave us all out of it. And I was really on the floor when Mary said, ain't nobody got time for this. And it's a tale as old as time where a woman is complaining about her man, how he's cheating on her or doing X, Y, and Z, and the friends say, girl, leave that man. Then they get back together and now they both hate you. Honestly speaking, I'm not somebody who airs out my issues to anybody because a lot of times people are happy that you have problems. So I keep my stuff between me and God, my journal, my mom, a trusted therapist. That's about it. That's where it starts and stops for me. So here's where things get really messy because Britney changes topics and she's like, well, anyways, Heather, how are your girls doing? So Heather's like, oh my gosh, they're great. And oh my gosh, Mary, Georgia said that she saw you the other day. So Mary's like, oh yeah, I saw her. She's so sweet. It was great seeing her. So now Lisa and Britney are like, wait, where'd you see Georgia at? And Mary had me screaming the way she was so secretive. She said, well, the wind blew her to me. So they're like, wait, what does that mean? So Mary says, I just told you the wind blew her to me. Mary does not have any patience for certain people on this cast, and I love it. So now Heather reveals that her daughter Georgia is in a professional dance class, and that's where Georgia saw Mary because Mary took the class. So now Lisa's like, oh, is it hip hop or classical? And Mary says, yeah, it's a hip hop class. So now Britney's like, I'm just so confused. Why are you being so secretive about this? What's the deal with that? And Mary says, well, I went to get a workout in, and you could tell that Lisa and Britney did not believe her because everybody knows that Mary is not the working out type. The way Mary was going around and around the mulberry bush to not answer any questions. So now Mary finally comes clean and says, I was with Angie K. So the minute Angie K's name is brought up, Lisa tenses up and she's like, oh, fun. Then she says that she hasn't spoken to Angie K since Milwaukee. So Mary's surprised to hear that, and she's like, well, why is that? So now Lisa reveals that Heather told her the other day that Angie K has been talking about her being a bad mom, and that's a low blow. And of course, Lisa has to be so dramatic. She's like, when Heather told me, I cried. And 10 points for Mary because she told Lisa right. She said, now Lisa, if that's your good friend, why don't you call Angie K up and ask her if that's what she said? If you're upset with her, then be direct and just say, hey, did you say that? Why are you taking what Heather's saying as it's the gospel truth? And we all know that Heather likes to spin the story. So now you have Lisa saying that Angie K can call her. And I said, okay, girl. Lisa, it just seems like you want to be upset with Angie K and you want to believe Heather over Angie K. Because if that were your good friend, you would have said, you know what? I hear what Heather's saying, but let me just call up Angie K and ask her if that's what she said. So now Mary calls out Heather, and it was delicious. And she says, you really are getting behind Lisa, aren't you? And I think it's weird because you've known Angie K since high school. You've known Angie K longer than all of us combined. So now you have Heather Gay stumbling and stuttering over her words. I said, oh, okay, girl. Why can't you speak now?
It feels like that you champion Lisa.
I do champion Lisa.
But you've known Angie since high school.
Yeah, but I champion Angie as well. But right in this situation, I'm on Lisa's side.
Tell him, boo boo kitty. Oh, now you can't speak English.
Heather looks so guilty because her explanation made no sense. And she says, yeah, you know, I am standing behind Lisa. I said, Heather, you need help, for real. I know I've said that several times throughout this recap, but I'm so serious. So now Mary really calls out the BS and says that Heather's being two-faced. And Heather's like, no, I'm not. What I'm saying right now, I'd say right to Angie K's face. And I said, would you? Are you sure about that, Heather? Because you tend to clam up when somebody confronts you. So we close out the episode with Mary telling Heather that the issue that she has with Heather is the fact that Heather leaves a trail of lies. She says, first you lied about who gave you the black eye, and then you were all about body positivity, and now you're saying that that's a whole lie. So the way Heather was gagged, she's like, no, that's not it. I was just saying that society favors you when you're skinny. That's all I meant. So I just said, Heather, you're not an honest person, and you do throw rocks and hide your hands, and you act like you're innocent when you're not. For you to sit up there and twist up what Angie K said to Lisa is not cool. And now for you to act like Angie K is the worst person and you're sticking by Lisa's side, it's pathetic. And I just want to ask one more time, what is the prize for being Lisa Barlow's best friend? Please let me know. Is there a cash prize attached to it? Because I have never seen somebody so far up someone else's ass like this. You are grown. You're almost 50 years old chasing behind somebody who doesn't even care for you like that. Lisa would never ride for you like this, ever. And Heather, it's so funny to me because in the first episode, for you and Lisa to be such great friends, why were you in the back seat for that Wendy's run? Why weren't you in the front? I'm just saying, I know that might sound petty, but it's little things like that that let me know that Lisa does not see it for Heather. But that's where the episode ends. And when I tell you guys that SLC is in their bag, they are truly doing their big one because I'm sorry, they have been 5 for 5. This episode was phenomenal. Bronwyn and this revelation about her ex's family, I mean, I was blown away. But y'all, thank you so much for watching. Thank you all for listening on the podcast. And you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.